Hello, hello. Hey, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. And we have Suzette in the house. Hello, hello. Nice to see you guys. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. It's been a long day. But as always, we are here every week. So, hey, Michael. Welcome, welcome. Let's do a quick audio and video check. How's the audio and video? Can you guys see me and hear me okay? And welcome. We have, of course, one of Team Insight with Moonshadow. We have Ariel in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. How's the audio and video? Lighting is amazing. Yes. Well, I moved my high-tech lighting over a little bit. Well, that's usually how it works. We're working with what we have. And this is how it works. We're all kinds of high-tech. Yes. And welcome everybody that is here on, of course, YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. Great to see you guys. Now, I know that there's some crazy stuff going on my mobile, on my phone, so I don't know how that's going to turn out, but there's some weird pop-up weirdness. This is, it's unfortunate that companies are allowed to spam your phone. So obviously some update happened where I can have random pop-ups for video games and Google Play Store and weirdness like that, which is not cool. So yeah. So I have no idea how that's going to be, but we got to make do with what we can, as we always do. That's usually how it works. And yes, and we will get on with the show in a few minutes. Again, apologize. Also, too, I have to say, I need to do some shout outs as well. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing the video as well. Hopefully this video is still being aired because some weirdness is going. See that? There we go. The broadcast was paused. Go figure. But yes, so also too, if you're having issues with the Facebook Live at any time, you can go onto YouTube Live under Insight with Moonshadow, and you can find me there as well. And of course, if you find me there, you can also, if you'd like, hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere over there. You know, you can hit the subscribe button. I think it's usually down there to the lower right-hand corner. You can hit subscribe, and you can get notifications of my my kookiness, what I'm doing, or what I'm going on. Cool. And I'm still alive. All right. Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So hope. So quick shout out time. I have to give some shout outs. I should probably do that during where I should do the formal one. So do the formal start of the show. Yeah, I got a couple of shout outs that I got to do. So I'll do that when I formally start the show. But we'll wait a couple more minutes to get everybody in, or get a few more people in, and then we can get this puppy started. But I'm really happy that you guys are here. And of course, I try to bring in interesting topic every week. And this week is not, I believe, not to disappoint. It may throw a few concepts about things on its head for you. And this topic, I've been bouncing around with this topic in my head for the past few weeks. Hey, Becky. So, so this topic will be interesting, I think. An interesting spin on how you may see things. So I try to provoke thought. That's what I try to do here. And Michael is saying here, Facebook Live isn't as good as YouTube, just my opinion. And I agree completely. Honestly, YouTube Live is a monster. And I say a monster in the fact of people have been working with YouTube for far longer than Facebook and a ton of other live streaming platforms. So I can honestly say that YouTube is very stable in a very, very great way, and the main home of Insight with Moonshadow. So that's where you can get all my replays. That's where you can get most of my shows, or all my shows. That's where you get my moon sites. Everything is via YouTube. I cannot always guarantee things are going to turn out well with Facebook Live. But I'm also too on other live streaming platforms as well. There's Periscope and Busker, which I'm not on as much, which I should be. Sorry about that. There's Busker, there's Periscope, there's Instagram, there's so many different ones. But a lot of them, they're still new, right? So even and they all have their advantages and disadvantages, their strengths and weaknesses, and I enjoy pretty much all of them, but there are just some of the go-tos, which the go-to is definitely YouTube Live. And since I have so many people that I keep in contact with now on Facebook Live, this is why I use Facebook Live. It's because of you, not because it's Facebook. It's more or less because of who's on Facebook. So yeah, so that's pretty much the deal with that. But yeah, we're going to give it a few more minutes, and then we'll get this party started. And get a couple of shout outs. There's a couple of new things that are happening, and also too, what else? And I think that's it. And then we'll get the show started. I'm hoping everybody's Mother's Day was a good one. I know some people that I connect with on a regular basis. Some people have to work hard on Mother's Day, even though they're a mother, and that is horrible. That's never good. But also too, some people were able for it to be a special day, other people not. So hopefully most of you had a good Mother's Day. And for all of you that have not, that were not able to spend that special day with your moms, just a thought, just thinking about them, or if they're not with us, a little prayer, a little thought, a little connective energy of missing them or remembering their memory. It is big. So that's also part of it too. Hello, hello. We have a Lucy Loose. Hey, how are you doing, hon? Good to see you. So yes, so let's see here. Another 3 minutes and we'll get this puppy started. So hello, Hannah. Hannah's in the house. So yeah, so other than that, we have some new things coming up as well, and looking forward to some new changes as we try to boost and get things better and better. And so I'm kind of running off on things. It's been that kind of day. It's been a very tiring kind of day. Very much so. All right, we'll give it 1 more minute, and then we'll get this thing going. But always a pleasure having you guys here and being part of Inside Moonshadow every week. And every week there's always someone new that pops in. There's always something or someone or new comments, a new conversation, something new, a new chapter, if you will. And today is episode 69. So believe it or not, we've been doing this 69 episodes. It's been quite a while. Definitely. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get this puppy started. Okay. Oh, and that's 423, by the way. If that's going to help at all. For my tech team, for my crack tech team. All right, here we go. Welcome to Insight with Moonshadow. I am Moonshadow. I'm an integrative holistic therapist, intuitive shaman, interfaith minister, and chief evangelist with over 30 years of experience in the healing field internationally. My intention here is to guide and empower you so you can empower others in your community as well as the world. So ultimately, the better you are for yourself, and I'm not saying that in a selfish way, the better you are for yourself, the stronger you are for yourself, the better you are to the world. The more that old saying, the strongest link in the chain is the weakest link, right? So if you're one of the strong links, then this is how it works. Now, also too, we got to start off the show before we get into the conversation. We get into the topic. Some shout outs. We got some shout outs. I want to say thank you for the equipment upgrade for the lovely Rainiel. She's like phenomenal, super awesome to be able to help in the support and creativity of Insight with Moonshadow. So I want to give big shout outs to her for equipment upgrade. So I thank you so much for, upcycling your equipment to me. So that's fantastic. I really appreciate that. And that is just incredibly huge, because anything that's an upgrade, anything that helps me be able to be more creative and to be more functional, the better it is for the show. So we're always trying to improve things. So that's a big help. And also some shout outs to all of you that have stuck with this from episode 1, that you share and you post and you listen to all my little quirky things that on my social media that I post up. That tends to provoke conversation. So I appreciate it. So this shout out is also going to all of you for being there and supporting and backing up and doing that. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, because without you and your support, I'd just be sitting here talking to myself. True story. And most of the time, believe it or not, I don't sit here, like during editing and stuff, I don't sit here and listen to the whole damn show. I don't. Stream of consciousness, it goes what it goes. It's in, it's out, it happens, the message goes out, the conversation is out there, and then that's it. It gets put up on YouTube. Now, also, too, we're a little closer on getting the Journey, the first pilot episode of Journeys up as well onto YouTube. So thank you for your patience to knowing that I still have the replays up for the old shows, of course, so you can catch the raw feeds, but also, too, coming up, you'll actually see the edited, prettier versions, and also, too, updates on the new, because of suggestions from other people. I can also say that even the thumbnail, everything has been boosted up with my own photography and everything. So a lot of that is kicking it up a notch as well. So we're continuously trying to get better and better and better, and to really make things happen. Hey, Pamela, welcome, welcome. So that being said, thank you all for being there. And again, thank you, Ray, for helping with the equipment upgrade, because much love to you. You are awesome, and I appreciate that in a huge way. Let's see, hopefully, there you go, my broadcast was paused. Anyway, so now for the topic of today. Now, I've worked with a lot of different people. Now, let's get this thing started. I've worked with a lot of different types of people, different populations of people, people that were homeless, addicts, you name it. And a large population of that has been people of quote unquote special needs. Okay, special needs being either developmentally delayed or challenged. I say challenged more so than anything. So either developmentally or physically or mentally challenged people. Now, I was struck profoundly recently when I saw something on my feed going back a few weeks ago regarding a girl with Down syndrome talking about special needs. Now, if we're all high tech, I would actually play that little snippet. I may put that snippet into the description, so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. But that is what profoundly intrigued me to bring this topic up this week, about special needs. And what is special needs? Okay? Because a lot of times people, because they learn a little differently, or because they need some form of help. Okay. I don't know if my YouTube feed, my Facebook feed went down or not. Is my Facebook feed still up? It may not be. Talk about life being messy. So I'm just going to go live with nothing. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to edit this part out. Facebook Live is down. YouTube is good. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. This is nuts. All right. I knew that was coming. Okay, one moment, people. This is how it works. This is what having a one-man show is. I do have a backup team, however, it's not usually in the actual show. Yes, Houston, we have a problem. You're absolutely right, Michael. So we're just gonna say we're just gonna say episode dot 69. That's just gonna have to do. Oh, okay. Welcome back on Facebook Live. That should come back up in 2.2 seconds. And hopefully it's going to stay that way. And again, part of this is because of crazy weirdness on yeah. Yeah, your viewers are waiting. Come back. Come back. All right. So we're back. So now looking at that, so the idea of special needs. And now this little media post really profoundly touched me in saying, okay, what is special needs? What is that? What is that? You know? Now, it made me really I already knew this. I felt this a long time ago, that there really wasn't a such thing as special needs. If you really think about it from that perspective, there really isn't special needs. There really isn't that at all. Because ultimately, we all have our certain quirks, our certain ways. We all learn differently. We all see things differently. We all view life from our own perspective. So now, what does that mean? Now, all of us learn very much differently. All of us learn. Now, some of us are more book taught, right? We can read a book and learn. I'm fortunate that I could do that. Now, if given my choice, I'd rather learn more like Bill and Ted's Big Adventure style, experientially, like being actually out there. You know, being actually out there in the world and experiencing things hands-on, in person, right there. So now, what's the difference? There really isn't. There may be a difference for me, but there isn't a difference to other people, right? So it really depends on who you are and how you learn. So now, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm special needs? And welcome, Joe. So ultimately, there are certain things that you can go through life with or without. And so that's why when this whole special needs concept idea came to me, it was like, okay, if we're all unique, and this is where this media post came up with this beautiful girl, this incredibly profound, wise person with Down syndrome saying, aren't we all special? And that really touched me, and that profoundly touched me enough to be able to put it out here, you know, on my weekly show as a topic to say, yes, we all have special needs because we're all special and we all need and we all want and we all want to live and enjoy and live life to the fullest. So technically, in a lot of ways, we're all special needs. So we're all special. We all want the same things for the most part, right? Most of us, you know, want to be loved or want to be cared for. Most of us want to live a healthy life. Most of us, if we have children, want our children to be healthy. So this is one big part of it. This is one big major thing. Now, also too, I was watching Animal Planet. Yes, one of my favorite channels, and I was watching uh, My Cat from Hell. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that show, My Cat from Hell. And Jackson Galaxy, which is he's pretty amazeballs too, I gotta say. He is kind of like the Caesar Milan of cats. And the reason why I bring this up is that in this particular episode, a couple, they were profoundly touched by a book that the main character was a blind cat. So what ended up happening was that they were touched by this book, and they started to foster exactly that, blind cats. Now, the interesting thing is, just because the cats were blind did not mean they were completely healthy otherwise. They were just blind. So their other senses were hyper superpowered, right? So now, interestingly enough, he had his guitar case down. See, there you go. Hey, Terry. So now, so here he is. He had his guitar case down on the, near the floor, and one of the cats, which were had no sight, walked right around it without even bumping into it. So that was pretty interesting. But the point was that they were fostering blind cats, and they even said, we have the chance to foster normal cats and kittens, and we don't. We save that for people that want to do that. We basically only foster blind cats. And they had a few of them. They had a few blind cats in their house. I think they had like, I don't think 6 or 7 of them. But see, this is the whole thing. It's about bringing to light the fact that just because you have 3 legs as opposed to 4, or you have no sight, or 1 ear, or whatever, doesn't mean that you're necessarily special needs. It just means that your life is different. Your life is built a little different. You're going through life in a different way. So that's all a big part of what life is all about. So technically, we're really all very, very special. Now, also too, we have like Nick, and I'm going to butcher your name, so I apologize, Nick. Nick V. I'll just say V because it's easier that way. But he was born without is a man without limbs. He does motivational speaking, and he's a phenomenal individual. Now, if he wasn't born without legs and without limbs, he wouldn't be he wouldn't be who he is today. So this is exactly what I'm saying. So some people, and we have some incredible athletes that don't have a limb, or they're incredible people just because of their persistence to be able to do what they want to do, regardless of not being at quote unquote 100% in certain ways. Hey Paul, hey Lori, welcome. So ultimately, this is what I'm talking about. So more than likely, we all view things from our own perspective. We all view things from our own view. So wouldn't that mean that you're special needs and I'm special needs? I need to be special. I'd like to be unique. Well, I tend to be unique. Thank God there's only one of me and not 2. I put them to work. But ultimately, this is what it boils down to. Most people want the same things. Now, whether you're, a 2-legged or a 4-legged or a winged one, all of it makes a difference. So So the whole idea of special needs, I'm like, so what is special needs? And I definitely, I'm gonna have to put the media post, somehow find the way of putting the media post link or something into this feed, because it really touched me to the point of you know, triggering my emotional response, which isn't really hard. I can't say it's difficult, because I'll cry during a Hallmark commercial. Little fun fact for all of you, but this is exactly what it is. So looking at someone, I remember a perfect example. One person I worked with, this person didn't have use of their arms or legs, and they were in a wheelchair, and it was very difficult for them to communicate normally. But I could have full-blown conversations with this individual, and people would look like, oh, poor thing. And one day it kind of struck me odd, and I'm like, this is so-and-so, why don't you say hi? And I basically started a conversation wherever we went, because it's more than that. So a lot of times we look with pity, or we look with, oh, well, that person isn't this, or that person isn't that. Or look at that, either an animal that's like that. Now you have that commercial with the pit bull named Tripod. He goes, he prefers to be called Tripod. It's all about the positivity. And also during this Animal Planet episode 2, one thing that was mentioned that Jackson Galaxy had said was the fact that he goes, you know what? These animals, that they have one less sense, they actually, there is no pity. They do what they got to do. They're like, you know what? All right, so I'm paralyzed from the waist down. I still need to get to my food. I still need to get moving. I still need to get my things done. And they still do it. We as people tend to pity on things, on something that's different or something that's special. Now, I know people that can't eat spicy food. Does that mean you have a special need? Well, technically, yes, it would. I know people that are lactose intolerant. Does that mean you have a special need? Yes, you do. So ultimately, this is what it boils down to. This is what it really gets down to, the nitty-gritty of it, the down and dirty of it all, is that all of us, every single one of us, has some kind of limitation. So it's really up to us to try to be as unlimited as possible. But do you know how many people are out there that they don't want to? And you know what? No judging. We don't judge here. Now, Ariel is saying, that's me, no spicy, right? Now, she's got a scale. She's got a Lely scale. And yes, that is actually, I'm saying it live, Lely scale. She's got a Lely scale of good to not good at all. it's great. And everyone should have some form of scale, because that kind of helps things along, I think. But it was, but again, it's about, okay, you take a look at it. Special needs. Like, are you the most perfect version of yourself? Are you? Good question. I can say no. For myself, I can't speak for any of you, but I can speak for me. No, I'm not the perfect version of myself. Horribly imperfect, incredibly flawed, and I try to keep on doing the best I can every day, volleying every day, making things a little bit better, where it's a step, a baby step, or a leap, or some kind of step away. And that is the whole point. So the part of this conversation for today is really about viewing the idea, the concept of special needs in a different way, in a different light, because each one of us, even though you may be part of a majority, human beings, or a majority Americans or that kind of thing. We're still very individualistic. And I speak to a lot of people, different people all the time. So even though all of us here may have, two eyes, ears, and a nose and a mouth, some of us weren't born with one of our eyes. Some of us weren't born with an ear. Another one, there are so many different people that they wouldn't be who they were because of their differences, their obvious differences. I remember seeing a story about a child that it was like people thought it was like the wolf child, and they had a crazy ailment or phenomenon that they grew hair. They were really, really hairy. Now, you want to talk about me being hairy? This is nothing compared. This is like, this child literally looks like the wolf child. But the thing is this, though. Now, seeing things from my perspective, I see beauty where people may not necessarily see beauty. But this kid was beautiful, and the personality of this kid, nonstop, profoundly, awesomely gorgeous. And it's like the spirit, the shiny spirit, But this is the whole point of it. You may go, oh no, people are going to make fun. Only if you're thinking from that low frequency of energy. You're only going to bully that kid if you're not confident or comfortable in your own skin. That's the only way you're going to bully or put someone down. And I take pride here, and pride could be good or bad, of course, but I take pride in the fact that most of the people that come see this broadcast every week are predominantly good people that want to improve themselves and want to improve the world around them as well. So all of us, we do our best to be good to others. And then honestly, and in this divided world that we are in presently, 2017, May 15th of 2017, in this divided world we're in, it's really up to us as shiny beacons of hope and love and healing. It's up to us to turn the tides. It's up to us to make things better. This is reason number one why I do what I do here. Because if it wasn't for the need for the conversation, if it wasn't for the need of this, then I wouldn't be talking about it. So I'm trying to also be the voice, whether it be a whisper or a scream of what could be great, and uplift that, or not so great, and bring it to attention. Shine a light on it. Throw some audio on the problem, being part of the solution, not part of the problem. So ultimately, this is what it is. Now, also too, I remember, I can't remember her name presently, but there's the athlete that did Dancing with the Stars, and she had one prosthetic leg, and she was still graceful, gorgeous, and everything, and she was phenomenal. She did incredibly well. One less leg, but you know what? You could barely tell. Why? Is resilience, is that strength to succeed. It was that strength of wanting to make things better. It was that strength and that ability to push forward. So I'd like to switch it. I'd like to flip it around. So if it's not just those people with a challenge, since we all have challenges, we're all special needs. We all have some kind of special need. The need to be loved, the need to be respected, the need to be upheld, the need to be held, the need to be responded to, the need to be acknowledged. All of those things are really, really super important. So wouldn't that mean that we all have special needs, because we're all special, we're all unique. And so that's a big part of it. So this is why I'm bringing up this topic today. So next time you look at that person, you think twice about pity and think more of, I bet that person can teach me something. And I can guarantee that they will. Some of the most amazingly awesome lessons I've learned were from people that you would never, ever figure. You would never figure. You'd never figure a lesson would come from them. And I'm talking young ones. I'm talking animals. I'm talking living a more shamanic life, of course. But some of my most amazing lessons have come from people that we would disregard, or beings or teachers that we would disregard. A lot of what I learned about life, I've learned from animals I've had, pet children that I've had. Because that saying, out of the mouth of babes, right? Kids say some of the craziest things. But guess what? A lot of what happens there is, is crazy important. So this is what I'm saying. Lessons are everywhere, and I've said this many times before. Messages are everywhere. Omens, messages, lessons, they're always out there. And the teachers, we are here to learn and we're here to teach. We're here to guide and to be guided as well. So you may find that your teacher, your guide may be, a 3-year-old child. Like I brought up recently, the commercial where two people are yelling. They're yelling. There's a male and female yelling, and to this day, I still can't remember what it was, the website that they're promoting. But this little girl said, and I'm sure you guys all know this commercial, but it's like, looks like someone needs a timeout. Now, this little girl is in the audience, right? She's just watching all this happening, going, wow, okay, what's going on? And these two grown-ups are yelling at each other for no reason, right? And she goes, someone needs a timeout. And of course, that was enough of a wake-up call for them to realize, yeah, maybe we do need a timeout, because yelling isn't getting us anywhere, right? So this is, again, part of it. This is a big part of it. So now looking at the world from a different perspective, all of us may be looking at the same thing from a different angle of this view. And that's what I try to do. I just try to remind you that there are different angles of each view, of each given thing. Because life is not two-dimensional. Life is not flat. We are multifaceted. We are multi-dynamic. We are amazing, amazing miracles. And of course, a big part of this also is the fact that just the body alone, just the fact of what we can do in a matter of a millisecond. Involuntarily, our hearts can beat, our lungs breathe in and breathe out. All the things we do, just moving your finger like this takes incredible amounts of, energetic synapses firing and everything for us to be able to do what we do. And this is the whole point of it all. So since we're all unique and we're all special in our own way, why should we look? And again, all of us are special. So why should we look or take pity on people that have special needs? Okay. I have a niece, Claudia, and she's got Downs. And I'll tell you, I call her my little freaking rock star, because she is a rock star, no doubt. She walks into a room and she takes command of the room. Now, she's a little pint of peanuts, but I'll tell you right now, the way she is and who she is, her spirit is loud and bright, and you cannot miss it. You cannot miss it. Now, of course, I've known and I've worked with such people and individuals that normally would get dismissed or institutionalized back in the day. But these are gifted. So it's not about special needs. It's really about extra special people. This is what it's really all about. Also, you have indigo children. You got children that are hyper. You got children in the autism scale as well. They are finding studies that actually a lot of these individuals actually are incredibly intelligent. It's just how they see or perceive the world is in a different filter, a different way. They stimulate or have to be stimulated in a certain way. So now that really makes a big difference as well. So ultimately, the big part of this and the really big takeaway here is really about reaching out and realizing that because of environmental changes, because of what we drink and what we ingest into our bodies, that we are changing exponentially. We are changing exponentially. Now, also, Ariel is saying rainbow children and crystal children too, and it's true. It's true. Now, average height back in the day, I'm saying like way back, average height, like you see the tall ships way back in the day, where you see these big, tall, huge sailing ships. You see down below deck, you see these shelves, right? Those shelves were actually bunks for people. Now, average height back in the day was probably about 4 foot something. Now, that would be considered small people nowadays. We're giants now compared to people in medieval times. Because probably like five foot was probably average height back then. Now, average height for a female, I think, is around 5'6", 5'7". Average height for a male is around 5'9". Now, this is, it could be give or take an inch, obviously, without fact checking. But give or take, things are different. So if you put someone of today, a 6-foot individual, back in medieval times, dude would be like, whoa, what's going on? That dude he would be special needs. They'd be like, who is that? So this is a big part of it. Our uniqueness is what we should really embrace. It's really not about looking down on people that are obviously different from us, because all of us are different. All of us are different. Now, it's interestingly enough, I fly my what I call freak flag, and sometimes people will be like, but no, that means you're unique. That means that you're special. That means like you have talents. That means you're gifted. That means all that. Well, you know what? It wasn't like that when I was 5 and 6 or 7 years old, when I was a mutant with 2 different color eyes and being made fun of. I wasn't gifted then. No, I was weird then. And this is a big part of it. I was weird then, and I'm still weird. Still weird. But the point is now, it doesn't matter now because I'm an adult and I'm okay with being weird. And I was okay with being weird then too. It was just other people that had an issue with it. Right? So now Ariel is saying we all bleed the same color, which is true. And features, heights, hair color, skin color, it doesn't matter. And it's true. And it's true because it really doesn't make a difference. So that's why I bring up the topic today of special needs. Of all of us have special needs. Some people crave salt and don't crave sugar. Some people crave sugar, like I do. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. Some people like pork rinds for a snack. Some people don't. So if you really, really take a look at that, the term special needs really, it should change. And I'm not saying it doesn't have its place. I'm saying it should change where it's not I pity or feel bad for or belittle or look down on or any of that. Instead, look at it in a way of being special and gifted, learning it in a different way, doing things in a different way, seeing things in a different way. I think that is the important part. Because all of us are really different. All of us have our own individuality. So as much as you want to say or think that you are quote unquote normal, normal doesn't exist. Normal never did. Only thing that means normal, which all it is, normal is just if enough people or enough of a group of people basically a majority, whatever a majority does, that's considered normal. But ultimately, normal is not real. We're more abnormal than normal all day long. If you think about it. So this is part of why, and I want to apologize ahead for the Facebook Live issue. It's something where it's beyond my control at this moment, so I'm trying to make the best of it while I'm talking to you. So I'm multitasking as we speak, and we're doing the best we can. Now, also too, Ariel is saying abnormal is what you see in magazines. Now, this is all part of it. This is all part of it. Seeing the beauty in the difference, seeing the beauty and the gift in all of us, that is really what's important. I think that is really the important part. And if you start seeing that from those eyes, if you start seeing that from that view, then you're going to find that life is very unique. We're all unique. Life is unique. The way we do things are unique. Everyone does things differently. We all have our quirks. And I have a lot of quirky people around me as well. But this is part of the scenario. All of us have our quirks. All of us do. So special needs, we're all special. We're all built that way. We all have our things. And that's the bottom line here. That's the bottom line. So think about that for a second. Think about that person you may see that they may look different or do things differently. That person may be someone that's going to teach you something new. That person or thing, it could be an animal, because animals teach us resilience. Animals teach us independence. They are very industrious. There's a ways, even children. Newborns have a way of making sure that they get attention, don't they? They look and they'll cry. And they've even said this too, that even with babies' cries, that in itself, those vocalizations or those cries, there's a cry for every particular thing. And sometimes only the parent really knows what kind of cry that is. So this is what it boils down to. This is what it's all about. So looking at it from that view, it's got to be a little different. It's got to be a little harder. My heart reaches out to the gifted. My heart reaches out to the unique. I've always been a voice for people that couldn't speak for themselves. I always did that. And the reason why I always did that was because ultimately, if they couldn't speak for themselves, then I'm going to speak for them. And I mean, speak their message, whatever their message is. So if their message was, I'm not limited as you give me or make me, then I would speak that up. I would say that. I've always been for the underdog. And obviously you see me wearing Boston hats. I remember when, Boston didn't win often, and Boston was the only team that ever came out of complete loss to win the World Series. Only Major League Baseball team to ever do that. So this is exactly the point, is all of us deserve respect. All of us deserve attention. All of us deserve to be gifted, deserve that the praise and the love and the acknowledgement that they are doing amazing. Just today alone, I had a couple of students that they were having difficulty and they were frustrated. And I said, you know what? That's okay. This is new and we'll get there. We'll get you to where you need to be. So no matter how much we have to scale it back a bit just to get you going, we will get through this together. And that's important. So ultimately, you can have someone, this is another thing. Talk about special. Let's bring a different version of special needs. I have met people that were geniuses, incredible IQs, but socially, not so good. I've also met people that socially, they were amazing, but they had a lot of learning challenges. Now, what's the difference? Does it really make a difference how much money you make? Does it really make a difference whether you walk on two legs or one? Does it really make a difference or anything? Does it make a difference if you're too tall, too small, big ears, little ears, one ear, one left ear is bigger than the other ear? All that. What difference does it make? We all have a life purpose. We all have our own story, our own message. All of us do. So ultimately, all of us need to be special. So maybe that's the case. Maybe that needs to be flipped around. Instead of special needs, maybe we should respect everybody with high regard and love people fully with an open heart. And help them feel special. Not in a you can't do what I do kind of way, but actually, you may be able to do things better than me. Maybe there are things that you could teach me and I could teach you, and we can learn from each other. So this is a big part of it. This is real life. This is actual living. This is it. So it's not so much maybe special needs, more like the need to be special. And all of us, I think all of us truly want to be special. And I can tell you that all of you are. All of you are special. In one way, shape, or form. We're all gifted in one way, shape, or form. Either you can draw really well, or you can bake a cookie that's better than famous Amos, you know, but we're all special. Now, Michael is saying abnormal is what the social sciences are all about. Yeah, well, see, that's also the thing, too. Um, just because something sticks out doesn't mean that it's abnormal. Like, I remember there was a Twilight Zone episode where people were not attractive, right? All these people were really not attractive people. And I'm saying not attractive in whatever. They were made to look not attractive, like deformed or whatever, their faces. And the two humans that were what we would consider attractive in this day and age here in the world were actually the oddballs. And they were considered ugly and deformed. So they kind of spun it in this particular Twilight Zone. They kind of spun it around in such a way where they said, okay, well, we're going to make this a little different. And they were like, sent to an island. They were sent to an island because they were deformed and ugly, quote unquote. Now, also too, you look at the pig face episode. Exactly, Michael. You've seen it, and I've seen that episode like I don't know 50 bazillion times. Just because if you've seen Twilight Zone, a lot of the reruns you see on like Nick at Night or whatever. Especially during holidays, they'll do marathons of like Twilight Zone and stuff. I've seen it on Sci-Fi, but it's interesting. So now looking at that from that perspective, so just because everybody has, white hair on one side of their head and black hair on the other, and the majority has that, then all of a sudden people go to look at them differently. So isn't that interesting? So what is normal? I don't know. I don't know what normal is anymore. I really don't, because I see things from such a weird view. I see the odd in everything. So I look at everything like it's uniquely different. Everything is uniquely different to me. Now I see some generalities and some stereotypes to some degree. Because if you see enough of one thing, then you go, oh, okay, so in this particular section of town, we have a predominantly such and such population or something. But that still doesn't mean that every unique person does things a little differently. So this is why the whole needing to be special and special need comes from. So now we're going to summarize. We're going to summarize the show real quick. Looking at the world from only your set of eyes. Only you can see. Only you could see things from your set of eyes, as all of us see things differently. Back at one point in time, before eyeglasses were invented, I'm sure the first pair of eyeglasses looked kind of strange, and that person would look like they have special needs because they need to see, right? Well, there you go. So from this point forward, when you really think of the word special needs or the term special needs or the people that are special needs, maybe put a little spin on that and think special, look at them a little differently in the sense of how amazing they could be. What can they teach me? What kind of wisdom can they instill in me? What have they experienced that I haven't experienced? How did they view the world? Think about that for a second. from their standpoint and from their view, what does the world look like to them? Now, also going back when I was a kid, I used to blindfold myself to see what it was like to be sightless. I used to plug my ears up to feel like what was like, and this was, I think, me practicing on my empathic skills, because I would block my ears to see what it felt like to be deaf. I needed to experience life from different people's point of view. So looking at it from that perspective, maybe it'd be important for us to step into someone else's shoes for a mile and walk and experience that. I think that would be pretty amazing. They even have prosthetics for men to know what it feels like to be pregnant, to carry that extra weight in front of you and knock your biomechanics, your biomechanics off, so you know what it feels like to be pregnant. I've even read about the ability to breastfeed, whether you're male or female, and they've done that. So this is just one of the, or a couple ideas or perspectives of what could be out there. Now, Michael is saying that they did that in Boy Scouts. Now, funny little fun fact as well. You look at Star Trek. Star Trek was an incredibly educational experience for me, because Star Trek actually took people of different colors and dealt with it at a very early time, where that was taboo. So we're talking about just black people and white people and different people, different races and different colors. They spun that around with different people from different planets, aliens. So now think about it from that perspective. So the makers, Gene Roddenberry, thank you guys for giving me the info, brought some of the world's social dynamics that needed to be brought to light and brought it from a sci-fi perspective. The United Federation of Planets. Now, Captain Kirk, I have to say, he's the man. As a character, he was the man. Why? You know, he was getting it on with women, like green women, and he didn't care. Women with tentacles and women with antenna. Talk about, seeing things from a different view. That was a pretty wild character. Okay, and also too, as Michael's saying, Scottish, Asian, and Russian in the original Star Trek. They purposely, Uhura, she was a huge component in, not only was she an African American, but she was also female. Now, back in the time of Shakespeare, there were no women actors. Most of the actors were men. So if there was a female part, a guy was dressed in drag. So now guess what? Interestingly enough, drag was considered okay. But some people in this day and age look at people in drag and go, whoa, that's deviant. They're social deviants. And I have to say, no. They just are unique in their own way. So ultimately, this was cool, right? And Michael's saying Galaxy player for sure. Yes, he was like the Hugh Hefner of aliens, man, because he was like, but Bones. She was kind of hot. So, sorry, that's my one shot for you. But ultimately, really, this is really the thing, It's that through story, through our ability through story, through theater, through entertainment. Even they have motivated us to see things from a different perspective. We wouldn't have documentaries if we didn't have so many artists and people that put forth these social activists that put forth all of this. We wouldn't be able to learn what we learn. So even with this live streaming thing, we have all kinds of people live streaming. Anyone can do it now. That's beautiful. You have an opinion, you have a story, you can share it to millions of people easily and effortlessly, all by having a smartphone or a laptop. And preferably a good working one, because apparently I'm getting crazy spams on my phone, which that's just downright criminal. I gotta say, downright criminal. The spamming. My left foot moving. Yeah. Oh, there you go, with honors from Radcliffe, 24 years old with a bachelor's of arts. Yeah. And this is also part of it too. And just as another little fun fact, Captain Luc Picard is a Shakespearean actor, by the way, classically trained. So before you go ahead and knock Star Trek or knock a lot of these people, you know. Also, too, that's another thing. And thank you, Michael, for bringing that up with the musician with no hands and feet using his feet to play. I've also seen stories where people don't have any hands, and they actually. I remember there was this one woman that had no arms, but she was able to raise children with just her feet. I'm talking about feeding, drawing, writing, and raising her children with her feet. Now that's pretty damn special, I gotta say, for someone to be able to do that. That's pretty amazeballs, I gotta say. Absolutely. So ultimately, this is it. What is special needs? We are all special. We all have our special quirks. We all have our certain things. We all look a little different. We all do things a little different. We're a little too tall, a little too small. We're a little more rounder. We're a little shaped different. We may act funny. We may be funny. Who knows? But the point is, we're all special, and we all have needs. We all want to be loved. The majority of us, anyway. We all want to be cared for. We all want to be acknowledged. We all want to live our life purpose for the most part. We all want to do something in this world. We all want to matter. So next time you see somebody with quote unquote special needs, instead of looking at them like they're lesser than you, look at them like, what message do you have for me? What message do you have for the world? What can you teach me to be a better person? And I think if we saw things from that perspective, I think that would make the world a difference. I think that would make everything very different. So no longer will we view people or animals that are different than us in a sense of they're lesser. They're just different. No one's lesser. So I'm going to leave it at this. Ultimately, you are a beautiful person, being. You are a manifestation of, you're a miracle just in how you were put in this world. For you to make it to this point in the world is incredible, for you to be able to do that. You've never been lesser than, you've always been more than. So the sooner you realize how important you are to your purpose and to the world, the better things are going to be. And that's just my moonsight for you, as I want to toss my phone out the window. But again, the big part of that is companies that like to spam information on you. Something happens. Not fun. But honestly, we're all works in progress, and we all have a need to be special. We're all amazing people, amazing beings, amazing souls. And as soon as you realize that, the better it is, the better you are. So ultimately, that's really important. And that's the topic for today. So special needs, we all need to be special, and we all are special. So something to think about, something to ponder. Next time you look at that person that's very different looking or different sounding or different acting, they may be a different color, they may be something different than what you used to. They may be a different person. They may be in transition of one way, shape, or form. They may have shaved their head. They may have a mohawk. They may have piercings. They may have tattoos. Does it really matter if they look different or act differently than us? It doesn't matter. Because beauty, ultimately, is from deep down inside. It's really, truly deep down inside. And it depends on how we decide to shine that light into the world. So we're going to close up the broadcast for today, for this week's episode 69 of Insight with Moonshadow Live, here on YouTube. Now this, I will honestly tell you, the Facebook broadcast is probably going to be a nightmare, but I want to thank all of you for spending time with me and bearing with me on the technical glitches on Facebook Live. I can't blame it on Facebook at this point. It's really about some kind of spammy thing, probably in my browser, my mobile browser or something. But I want to thank you guys, thank all of you for spending time with me, listening to my rants, sharing your views, sharing your stories, sharing your experiences with me, and putting yourself out there, because it's not easy to put yourself out there in such a judgmental and critical world. Some of us have never lived in the box like myself, but any of you that have lived in the box and are willing to look out, I applaud you. And I think that as much as we are a work in progress, I think we're shining beacons of hope and love. So all of you inspire me, and I hope that if you're guided to support, feel free to connect on all my social media. You can check me out on phoenixrisinghealingarts.com or moonphoenixrising.com, and you can check out all my links there. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Look down, I think it's down there on the subscribe button, and tell your friends, say, hey, look, I know this crazy shamanic dude. You got to check him out every week because he's kind of weird. And yes, weird is good. Life is good and weird is good. So be strong, be amazing, be you. Thank you so much for being here. See you guys next week for yet another zany, weird, who knows topic, because I don't even know sometimes till 5 minutes before episode of Insight with Moonshadow. You guys take care.